Welcome to Surfside, Florida. Surfside is the town that is just north of Miami Beach, where I live, and it is a pretty small town. We're talking only about 9 blocks wide at its widest point, depending on which block you're on, by about 8 blocks long. So it's very small. And right here, we're starting at 94th Street, and this is the local Publix that they have in Surfside, and it is its own little sustained town, so you can definitely do everything here that you would do in a normal town. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take you guys down the main drag here, which is Harding Avenue. It's only a few blocks. This is the business district of Surfside, where all of the restaurants and stores are. You have Wells Fargo there on the corner, and then down the street you have a bunch of little stores, cell phone stores, ice cream stores, restaurants. You have a UPS store there. You'll see as we go along. So I'll take you guys down the main drag here right now. And then after that, I'll show you guys through the residential area where all the houses are. And I'll show you where the beach is and all that good stuff. So one thing that's a little bit nutty about this main drag here is you guys see all the stores and restaurants here, and I'm sure you can also see all of the cars parked on each side of the road. So Harding Avenue here is a one-way street. There's only 3 lanes, but since there are parking spaces on both sides of the street, it gets pretty chaotic here, especially when there's a lot of traffic, because you always have cars trying to pull in and out of the parking spaces here, which completely stops traffic dead in its tracks. And that can be pretty annoying driving through here during any kind of rush hour. In case anyone is curious to see the exact route that I'm walking, I have a link down in the description of my exact route that I took along this entire video, so that way you can check it out on Google Street View or however you want to follow along with it. That over there is actually the shul in Surfside, and anybody that's been here before, or if you're Jewish, you probably know about it. Surfside has a pretty large Jewish population. And you guys will be able to see here just how small Surfside is, because we're already getting towards the last block of the business district. It's very small, which is pretty cool because it makes Surfside a very walkable neighborhood. You could easily live here and not have a car, and that wouldn't be a problem, which is very similar to Miami Beach. One thing I've always liked about Surfside is the fact that you can actually live in a house here. You don't have to live in a condo and still be walking distance to the beach, which most of the neighborhoods in Miami, you can't say that. So pretty much all of the businesses here are mom and pop. You do have some big chains like Starbucks. You have CVS here on the corner. There's a Subway back there. But I would say 95% of the stores and restaurants here in Surfside are all family owned. So it is a heavily community-based town. So right when we get to the corner here, the corner of CVS and 96th Street, that already marks the end of Surfside. After you cross this block and you go straight ahead, you'll have Bell Harbor shops on the left, and you'll be in Bell Harbor and no longer in Surfside. So this is pretty much marking the end of Surfside right here on this block. And right down that way is the beach, which I'll take you guys in a little bit. But first, let's go check out the neighborhoods here. I'm gonna cut through this parking lot, so I don't have to have all this noise of the traffic. And by the way, if you go down that road right there, just a couple blocks, that'll lead you into the last neighborhood I did the walking tour of, Bay Harbor Islands. So this is extremely close. So pretty much on that strip that we just walked on, that's where you have everything that you need walking distance in Surfside, including the post office, because one of the viewers asked about the post office on that last walking tour. And so actually Surfside, Bay Harbor Islands, and Bell Harbor all share the same post office, and it's right here on 95th Street in Surfside. So they don't all have their own post office, they just share one, and they share the same zip code too. So you see, just on the next block here, behind all these businesses, we have houses. And back behind here and all these blocks moving backwards are all houses. And then on this side, over by the beach, is where all the high rises are. And houses here have gotten pretty expensive over the years, I have to say. I sold a house here a while ago, I think for around $400,000. And now that same house is worth almost double, almost $800,000. I'll bet you that little house for sale right there is probably at least $500,000, maybe more. So they have sidewalks only right here in the business district area, but then similar to Bay Harbor Islands, for whatever reason, going through the neighborhoods, there's actually no sidewalks. So right now we're walking west, and right behind me is the beach. And if I keep walking all the way to the end of this street, we'll get to a canal which borders Surfside and Bay Harbor Islands. So I'll take you guys over there so you can see. Now, like I said, it is pretty neat that they have all these houses here, but they are quite expensive. It's not cheap to live here. And of course I see all these flowers, so I'm gonna have to come over here and show you, because it's very pretty. Did a real nice job with the landscaping here. It's weird, they have these little sidewalks like right on the corner, and that's it. You can see right there that it ends and doesn't actually go down the block or the street. Not sure what's the point of that, but it's there. And most of these houses here in Surfside are pretty old, built in the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, 60s. That's when the majority of these houses were built. But I always liked this area and always thought about buying a house here one day in order to be walking distance to all this stuff, but still be able to live in a house and not have to have all the rules of a condo. I think it is a little bit dangerous to be walking on the street here because there are no sidewalks. And you know how these Miami drivers are. So I'm trying to keep a lookout. But you can tell now that we're just a few blocks away from the business district, how quiet it gets over here. It's almost like being in a different town just a couple blocks away. Surfside is also great for families because if you live in this neighborhood, your kids will go to that same school that I showed you in Bay Harbor Islands in the last video, and that is a K through 8th grade school. So for the first 8 years of school, they'll go to school there. Getting close to the water. There's actually a little park down this way, which you can play basketball and I think maybe tennis there. And once we walk through another area of Surfside, I'll show you guys another little park too. As you might guess, these houses that are on the water are quite a bit more expensive than houses that are not on the water. So that's it. That's the edge of Surfside here. What you're looking at across the way is Bay Harbor Islands, and we started the last walking tour right on the other side of that building. So you can't see the empty lot, but it's there. It's nice to have a little garden here with the bench for any of the residents that want to come and just enjoy the peace and quiet of this spot. Got some more beautiful flowers here. Always see new ones on all these walks. Look at that. Look how pretty. Oh, look, we have another tree right here. Some sort of a rose bush, it looks like. I see thorns. How nice. So this road right here, Bay Drive, is the most expensive street in Surfside because all of the houses on the right here are on the water, and all the ones on the left are right across the street from the water, and obviously a little bit quieter than the other houses closer to the business district. So you're always going to pay more for a house on Bay Drive in Surfside than any other street, that's for sure. Someone's getting a brand new car delivered today. They did some real nice landscaping here. Oh, look at that tree with all those plants going up it. That's pretty neat. The house itself is pretty cool too. Baby blue with all these plants and trees and the green. Looks pretty neat. Got this tree right there with all these purple flowers. It's really a gorgeous neighborhood. Definitely one of my favorites in Miami. And since I love the beach, this does such a good job of incorporating that. You can still live the beach lifestyle here. But it's definitely more slow living here in Surfside versus Miami Beach where I'm at. Miami Beach is a lot more touristy. You get way more people from out of town coming there. Of course they get tourists here in Surfside. I guess I picked the day to come do the walk when everybody is doing the lawn or some type of improvement here. I don't even know if you guys can hear me. Hopefully. You can see a lot of these waterfront houses have been turned into mansions, basically. And then right across the street, you have more of like the normal, classic 1940s, 1950s style house here. Here's another yard where they did a beautiful job with all the landscaping. Actually, this house coming up here on the right, I almost sold this house to one of my clients many years ago. This one right here. And that's a perfect example of when I got screwed over big time in the real estate business. This house sold for around $1.6 million, something like that. And it was a foreclosure, but it's a really big house and it needed a ton of work. So the guy would have to do a lot of renovations to bring the house up to par. And it seemed like he was gonna buy it. I thought for sure he was gonna buy it. But he ended up changing his mind. And he was one of those clients where he kept promising me the deal and promising me the deal. I would show him houses and he's saying, oh, one day when I make the deal, I'm gonna do it with you, Michael. Well, guess what? When the day came to make the deal, He didn't do it with Michael. So Michael didn't make any money. And that's one of the many reasons why I would much rather be on YouTube than working with clients selling real estate. Here we got some more beautiful flowers. To stop and appreciate that for sure. I try not to harbor like ill feelings about these type of things that have happened in the past, but I'll always remember those things happening, you know? And to me, I guess it's good to remember it because it justifies the decision I'm making to put more effort into YouTube. Check out that old Corvette. My dad used to have one just like that, different color though. Late 80s Corvette. But one thing that's cool about being on YouTube like this is I get to share with you guys a lot of the knowledge I've learned over the years about real estate and still incorporate that into the channel without needing to actually work real estate deals. And that's probably the right thing for me to do moving forward. They have a very pretty yard here too. So I'm trying to get you guys to another park here in the area that has a playground for all the kids, which is really nice. And it's also right near the entrance to that island, which you may or may not remember from the last walking tour video. Indian Creek Island is the island that has all of the mega mansions and the most expensive houses in Miami. And the way that you get there is right here in Surfside. You see, here is kind of where it splits off a little more. As you go a little bit further south here in Surfside, that's when you get a few more extra blocks added to the town. Back the way we just came, it's only about 6 blocks wide. And then when you get down into this area, it's about 9 blocks wide. It's such a beautiful day to be out here doing this walk. 75 and sunny today, guys. January 7th. It's part of living in Florida. But you know what? We earn it here in Florida because these beautiful winters is our reward for putting up with hurricane season. While everybody up north is enjoying gorgeous mild summers in the 70s and 80s, we're dealing with 90 to 100 degree heat every day and constantly under the threat of the next hurricane wiping us off the face of the planet. There's another mega mansion under construction. Obviously, people who buy these waterfront houses have the big bucks. These guys doing the landscaping are making bird calls. Wow, look at that. We actually have an empty lot here. Probably one of the last ones in Surfside for sure. Yeah, I can finally see that park coming up. One I was talking about. It's about a block and a half from here. So you have a couple of small little parks throughout the neighborhood here. And after we're done walking through the neighborhood with all the houses, I'll take you guys down Collins Avenue and show you some of the high-rise buildings and also the community center here in Surfside, because that's one of the benefits of living here is if you live in Surfside, there's a community center with a pool and beachfront amenities that you can use for free if you are a resident of Surfside. So see this here? That bridge is how you get over to Indian Creek Island. It's the only way on or off the island, obviously, other than somebody's super famous or fancy boat dock. But all the normal folks have to cross over that way, and needless to say, you can't get in without an appointment. I'm terrible with names, but I know for sure that many celebrities currently own houses there on Indian Creek Island, and many other celebrities have owned property there in the past. I see a little walkway here. Maybe we can walk down here real quick and see what's up. I've never actually walked through here, only just driven by. See a boat going by. Oh, what a nice little surprise. Look at that. A couple Adirondack chairs, little picnic table. I'm gonna have to surprise Lizzie one day and bring her here for a little picnic. I didn't even know this existed. That's been one of the awesome things about doing these walking tours for you guys. I'm showing you areas that I know, but a lot of times I've never actually walked through the neighborhood like this. And so even I get to see new things that I didn't even know were here, which is pretty awesome. This is a great experience for both of us. And that's it, the famous Indian Creek Island. No wonder they all have their own boat docks, no surprise there. And down in the distance, you got Miami Beach and North Bay Village. Maybe one of these days I'll do North Bay Village too. So on the way out of here, I'm gonna show you guys the little playground, and then we'll walk back to the Jeep. I'll probably cut it at some point there, and then we'll resume on Collins Avenue near the beach and the community center so you can see the rest of what Surfside has to offer. And that's it right up there. This is the main playground area they have in Surfside. Everybody brings all the kiddos here. Nice thing about this park, which actually a lot of the little playgrounds around here don't have this, is you have a lot of shade here. And some of these playgrounds, they have like a netting type deal to try to keep some shade on it, but they still get scorching hot. But here, you don't have to worry about that so much. So basically what I did here is we're just doing one giant circle around the neighborhood because I started off on 94th and now we're on 90th. So I'm just gonna wrap back around the way I came. But we'll get to see new stuff along the way. Like some more beautiful flowers. Man, that never gets old. Wow, look at this house, guys. Look at the amount of vegetation they have growing there. That's beautiful. That's years and years and years of gardening and upkeep to have this yard look like that. And the nicest thing is it makes the yard so nice and cool. That's the cool thing about living in a house here in Miami, is that you can benefit quite a bit from having all this extra shade. In the summertime, it makes a huge difference. Versus when you live in the middle of the city like I do, and it's a concrete jungle, it gets scorching hot. There's nothing to keep you cool. Here we go. Look at that. Purple and raspberry colored flowers. This walk has been a delight. Even saw some butterflies here. There it is. Got quite a few butterflies flying through here. So it's basically impossible to get lost in Surfside because it's such a small town. If you just keep going straight down this road where I'm walking right now, you'll get directly to the beach. And that's how close you can see the beach is. Even if you live all the way at the end where I just came from, we're talking maybe a 10-minute walk to the beach. So that's pretty close. You actually can't get that in Miami Beach. There's only one neighborhood in Miami Beach that has a bunch of houses like this, and they're actually right on the beach, and they're way more expensive. We're talking $10 to $20 million. I was actually inside this house about a year ago. I think it was right before I started the YouTube channel, actually. My idea was to go through and start filming some open houses and trying to get real estate clients like that and posting them on YouTube. But instead, after doing a ton of research and soul searching, I decided to just make the YouTube channel and pretty much have it evolve into what it is today, because I knew that would probably be the better route for me in the long run. You know, YouTube checks all the boxes for me. I'm able to work no matter where I'm at in the world, so I'm not location dependent like real estate is. Also, every single day, the channel is making money. In real estate, I need to be out pounding the pavement and closing deals. And if I'm not doing that, I'm not making money. So those are two major factors that really draw me to YouTube. And I just love making these videos. I mean, this is fun for me. I don't think I ever had the feeling, I'm gonna take a shortcut through here. I don't think I ever had the feeling before I started YouTube to like wake up and actually be excited to work every day. And that's the feeling I get from running this channel. I never got that feeling from real estate or any other job I ever had. And I have plenty of content to come for you guys. I see a lot of people are enjoying the walking tours and the house tours, so I'm going to be focusing pretty heavily on that for the next couple of months, and then also mixing in some of the Q&As and some top 10 videos and pros and cons videos as well. Basically, my goal is to make the best videos that you guys are going to love watching, and that's really the goal for the channel. That's it. I'm not trying to get clients. I'm not trying to have people call me to move to Miami, which has happened. I get sometimes people doing that and saying they want to move here and have me help them and all of that. And I do vet people heavily. And to be honest, I'm not really looking to do that. And so I do require everybody pay for an initial consulting call in order to see if it's the right fit. That way I don't waste any of my time trying to work with somebody. And if they really want to work with me and they're serious, I'm sure they wouldn't mind paying $30 to $90 to chat with me for a little while about real estate here and all of that. And honestly, if somebody's not willing to do that, that's fine. They can work with somebody else. I have no problem with that. Because the goal of the channel is to just make awesome videos that you like watching, not to amp up my real estate business. Which is kind of funny because I have seen some comments in the past where people think that's the goal of the channel, but they've probably watched like 2 minutes of one video and really don't know anything about me or the channel. And that leads them to automatically assume that I'm just looking to get clients from the channel, when in reality that couldn't be further from the truth. In the last walking tour, I mentioned about maybe getting the dash cam and to start doing some driving tours, and I haven't decided if I'm gonna do that or maybe get one of these electric scooters and either find a way to mount my phone on there and do the tours like that, or get a GoPro. But I think it would be a cool way to do the tours because I'd be able to move through the neighborhoods a little bit faster than I can walk, obviously. And so you'd be able to see a little bit more. Like, I'm only taking you down a couple of streets here, like you can see, and I've already been shooting for a little over 40 minutes. But if I had the scooter, I could have weaved in and out of several blocks and been back at the Jeep already and shown you more of the area in the same amount of time. My only concern is the audio. I want the audio to be good for you guys. I don't want you to be hearing nothing but wind the whole time. And I know everyone who watches these enjoys my commentary, so I'm just not sure how I'm gonna do the logistics of that. You know, make the video sound good as well as look good. Because I think it's kind of useless to be able to show more of the area if you can't hear anything I'm saying. But I'm gonna buy some stuff and try to figure it out. Hey, this yard in front of me has some cactuses in front of it. That's a little unusual. I have seen some houses in the neighborhood like that before, but not many. It's pretty unique for Florida. We don't see cactus every day here. Pretty. And if I lived here, I would totally be one of these people that takes care of the yard like that. Keeps it nice and beautiful. I was never into that much as a kid, but I swear, I can appreciate it so much more now as an adult. As a kid, you just want to be out doing a bunch of things and having a bunch of fun. Not really paying attention to these more subtle things in life. We have another rose bush here. This one's a little orange looking. I don't even know what you call this. It's thorny like a rose bush, but obviously the flowers don't really look like roses. But they are pretty, whatever they are. I'm not exactly sure how the rules work in Surfside. It's probably different than Miami Beach. But you see, like, for example, you have a very old house right here. And next door, they're building a brand new house, and they obviously demolished the old house that was here. In Miami Beach, this isn't really possible. They have protections in place for older homes that were built in the Art Deco period. But in Surfside, it seems like they either don't have that rule or there's exceptions to the rule. Who knows, too? Money talks, right? Sometimes any of the rules can be broken for the right dollar amount, which would not surprise me at all. Thinking about getting in a bunch of these walking tours done now in the winter while it's beautiful out, and then stick with more house tours in the summer since it's so hot. I've done a couple of the walking tours already over the summer, but it is pretty brutal. Look at that. They have a coral rock fence over there. Let me bring you a little closer so you can see. You don't see that every day. On houses anyhow. Very neat. Another banyan tree too. Just now saw that. So I'm almost back to the Jeep, so I'm gonna cut it here and I'll resume back on Collins Avenue. So here we have Surfside City Hall, which is on the corner of 93rd Street and Harding Avenue. And directly across the street from there is the community center that I was telling you about earlier. So we'll take a little walk over there and see if it's open right now. I don't know if it's closed due to the illness or what's the situation, but let's find out. Whoa, look at that. This iguana went nuts. I didn't even see him there. I must have freaked him out and he tried to run into the fence and he ran right into it until he found a way underneath. I'm gonna hurry up and run across the street while it's green. Check it out. This is the community center. Looks like it is open. Have all the rules here. What needs to happen. Let's see if it's actually open or not. How's it going, man? Is it okay if I just take a quick video around here? No? All right. Well, they won't let me video it, but I tried. So we'll take a little stroll down Collins Avenue instead. Show you some of the high-rises here. More beautiful flowers. I'm gonna cross to the other side of the street. That way I can show you guys more of these buildings because it's gonna be kind of tough to see like this. This is another cool thing they have in Surfside, the city bike. We have this in Miami Beach too, but it's a good alternative to walking to get around a little bit faster without still having to grab your car. So one thing you might notice here in Surfside when you're looking at all these high rises is they're all about the same height. And that's not an accident. So basically, Surfside has a building moratorium in place where none of the buildings here can be higher than 12 floors or 12 stories. So that keeps all the buildings here the exact same height. Obviously, no developer would want to build a building smaller than that for the most part. But it's really nice because if you contrast that with Sunny Isles, for example, Sunny Isles is like the complete opposite. You can build a tower to the moon there, and what really sucks is the place is called Sunny Isles, right? But you literally have no sun at the beach there after 2 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe even earlier in the winter like this. So you got all those huge high rises, luxury, beautiful and all that, and you got a dark, shadowy beach. So that's one thing that's pretty cool about Surfside. None of the buildings here are super tall, which allows you to be able to enjoy the beach a little bit more. Which just goes to say something about the area too, you know, you can see how much they value the beach here. And on the other side of the street where I'm walking, they have a lot of these more low-rise buildings. So Surfside again does have a pretty good mix of housing for you. You can live in a low-rise building like this. There's some townhouses in here. The building next door has some small one-bedrooms in it. And in these old buildings here like that on the beach have some really small apartments that are pretty cheap. That brand new building up there, that one, that's the Four Seasons. Very expensive. Lots of millionaires and billionaires buy property there. But you can see they have housing for billionaires. They have little apartments for people that just want a 700 square foot one bedroom. There's townhouses, there's small houses, there's big houses. So you really do have a good mix of housing available in the neighborhood. Hopefully me walking down Collins Avenue like this isn't too noisy for you guys. This is the first time in one of these walking videos I've walked down such a busy street. So we'll have to see how this is going to turn out. Because I've had some requests to show like downtown and Brickell and things like that. And I've been pretty hesitant to do that because of how noisy it's going to be. And it might just be too noisy. But this will be a good test. And there are a few hotels here in Surfside. We just passed one of them a little while ago actually. This is another one here, and they're all fairly new. Before that, I would say maybe 4 or 5 years ago, there weren't even really any hotels here. If you wanted to stay in the area, you'd need to stay in one of the hotels in Bell Harbor or Miami Beach. And there is one little hotel in Bay Harbor Islands. Brand new Bentley. Something tells me they're delivering it here. Once we get to the corner, I'll take a left and take you guys to the beach. So I took you guys to the northern end of Surfside, but I'm not going to take you all the way to the southern end because I don't want the video to be too long. But you can see right up here where that building up there is a little bit taller than these other ones. That's the difference of Surfside and Miami Beach. That's where Surfside ends and Miami Beach begins. That's a brand new building they just built in Miami Beach, and we don't have the 12-story moratorium there either. Whoop. Before we go over to the beach, look at that beauty. All right, let's go to the beach. Oh, by the way, this tree right here, I don't know what kind of tree that is. It's like some kind of huge tree that they literally brought in here. That tree hasn't always been here. When they were putting this building up, they literally transplanted this tree and put it here. And I feel like ever since they put it here, it's not doing too well. It doesn't look too healthy. See the beach coming up. And by the way, you can see there's no parking here. So if you want to come to the beach, you have to park in one of the public parking lots and pay for parking there. It's like $2.50 an hour or something like that. Now, one thing you guys will notice that's quite different about Surfside compared to Miami Beach by the beach over here is they don't have the boardwalk like we have in Miami Beach. They still have a flat sandy surface. But one thing that is kind of cool is they have this area here. You have that for like bikes, things like that. You can walk here too, but they have another path kind of that goes right through the middle of the dunes. That's just for walking. You can't have the bicycle in here. And one of these days, I'll probably take you guys through a walk just over here to show you what it's like. 'Cause it's pretty interesting and pretty beautiful. I won't do it in this video. I'll make a whole separate video like that. One thing you guys will notice immediately out here is how empty the beaches are compared to Miami Beach. All the way down in the distance is Sunny Isles and Bell Harbor. And I did get a request to do Sunny Isles for the walking tour. So I'll probably do that in a couple of parts because Sunny Isles is pretty big. Somebody asked to see the back end neighborhoods of Sunny Isles, not right on the main drag. So I can do that in one part, and then the main drag and all of that in a different part. And here we are at the beach in Surfside. And I don't feel jealous of anybody out at the beach here today, because I went to the beach yesterday. And to be honest, it was nicer than it is today. Yesterday there was like no breeze, not a single cloud in the sky, nothing but blue skies. And it was like 73. You can see where they have the whole fancy beach set up for the Four Seasons here. And back in the day, before this was the Four Seasons and before they built this was a place called the Surf Club. It's a pretty historic place in Surfside. And then they finally closed it down and turned it into this place. I used to ride bicycles back here with my friend down that path I showed you guys, and back then it still used to be the Surf Club. So I would like to know down in the comments if you guys would like to live in Surfside after seeing the whole neighborhood like this. I'd like to hear your thoughts on the neighborhood. Definitely love how calm the beach is here. But some people like it nutty and party city, and for those folks, you should be in South Beach. Check it out. It's like a little tunnel here. What is that? Probably some kid just dug it there. That's pretty neat. At first I thought it was an actual tunnel. That about does it for Surfside. I'll see you guys next in Sunny Isles.